So, who is the inner child? Our inner child is the energetic embodiment of all of our childhood experiences, memories, and emotions. So, think of yourself in childhood and can you remember the range of emotions that we experienced and how vibrant life felt? And when I say that, I really want to hone in on that huge spectrum. Oftentimes in our adult minds, we tend to hone in on bad memories, and yet that fullness of life was really available to us as a child. And so when we often think about our wounded inner child, but we also have this healed inner child too. So there is a huge spectrum. And so I just want to set that foundation right out from the beginning that there's a multitude of different kinds of inner child that we have access to.
Absolutely. And knowing that when we're doing this inner child work, it can be an invitation to invite that magic back, to invite the vibrance of life back, to invite that spectrum of emotions that we're trained kind of not to have as adults, right? That can be a goal of inner child healing too. So, with our wounded inner child, this is probably the inner child that we think of most when we say inner child healing. The first thing that pretty much everybody thinks of is that version of you that was wounded, that was hurt, right? And our wounded inner child is the part of our inner child that felt pain or had an experience that made them feel less than. So, we're talking about the entire range of traumatic experiences, whether it was a big T trauma or a little t trauma. It's any experience that led to beliefs or feelings of I'm unlovable, I'm not worthy, I'm inherently flawed, I'll be abandoned if XYZ happens, or I will break my family's unspoken rules, or I'll be a bad person if I do XYZ, or, if I'm successful, if I do something good, I'll make others feel bad, or I'll outshine others if I excel at, so I need to dim my light, right? It's any time that our little self interpreted what was happening in the world around us as there's something wrong with you. The way that you inherently show up, the way that you inherently are, it either isn't enough or it's too much. And when our inner child had those experiences and had those emotions, we take it in and it becomes part of our subconscious framework, which we'll talk a little bit more about later.
Yeah, and I really want to hone in on this idea that it can be something small that makes a really big impact. So, like, for example, you might have a memory of your mother rushing out the door and being, hurry, 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 we got to go. And you're stalling. You're like trying to play on your bike and you fall off and you scab your knee and you're crying because you're bleeding and your mother is just exasperated, right? And that moment you are made to feel unworthy, that you're inherently flawed, that she don't got time for you, right? And all of those feed into these what become limiting beliefs, right? And so it's all of those things that stack up, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean that you had an abusive childhood. We all have stuff. So this is where the little t and the big T really play their parts. So the subconscious mind connection, really need to understand that the subconscious mind is forming between birth and age 8. There's not a filter. We don't have a conscious filter yet. So anything that is happening, so our mom runs and says, I can't believe you. We have to leave right now, right? Like if she is putting that energy out where you're now feeling I'm messed up, I'm a horrible person, like all these things, you just absorb it. There's no conscious filter going, wow, mom's really stressed out right now. She really needs to take a chill pill. Like there's no conscious thought about what's happening. And that is the framework of how we're seeing the world.
Absolutely. And so when we're looking at our subconscious mind, this is the moment where everything that's happening around you is getting interpreted as a fact about you. Like Christine saying, there's no conscious filter. There's no ability to say, this is about me and this is about them. Everything is about you. And so when we're having every single experience from age 0 to around 8 or 10, that becomes our framework for this is how the world works and this is my place in it. This is how I need to act. This is how I need to show up. This is what I need to do and not do in order to be successful, in order to be safe, right? And so when we're in that really prime age for our subconscious to develop, difficult experiences start to challenge our sense of self. And they cause us to install those new limiting beliefs to keep us safe, right? This is why we say say that our subconscious mind is just here to keep us safe because it's holding on to the beliefs that would have helped us at the time, right? So let's say even with this situation where, your mom's rushing you out the door and you fall and you scab your knee and she's going, hurry, 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 we don't have time for this. Your brain is going to retroactively look back at that experience and say, man, if I had just gone a little faster, if I had just spoken up, if I had just not cried or made a big deal about my knee, then maybe mom would have been happier. And so now you have this internalized belief that if I had just gone faster, if I had just done better, things wouldn't have turned out the way that they did. And so now that's going to carry forward into your adult life because according to your subconscious, this is how the world works. You're always going to need to do better. You're always going to need to go faster. You're always going to need to show up in XYZ way because it would have kept you safe. It would have gotten you more love in the past, right? And so these are the stories that often become our inner critic in adulthood and are at the root of our triggers. When we feel that emotion rising up, when we feel ourselves feeling activated, or when we just know that we're not doing enough, we don't know why, but we know we're not doing enough. That's at the root of that is that belief that your inner child took on. It's that wounded inner child energy that's resonating forward into your present adult life. And this is one of my favorite questions when we're starting inner child work is when you're in that activated state, when you find yourself saying, oh my gosh, I'm such an idiot, or I should have done better, or I didn't do enough, or I'm never going to get what I want, whatever that story is that's playing through your head, can you tune in and ask yourself, whose voice is that? Right? Because your subconscious remembers the first person who taught you to believe that. And when you can take time to ask your subconscious, ask your inner child, whose voice are you hearing right now? Who first told you that? That's the first step to freeing yourself is realizing that belief was given to me. That story was given to me. I don't have to hold on to it. I don't have to choose to believe that anymore. I can reframe and rewrite the scripts that I'm living my life by.
Absolutely. I can't stress that enough. And know that those positive, empowering experience can create an empowered belief and lead to the strong energy flow. So they're in balance. We have these difficult experiences and then we have positive experiences, and they both co-create the scripts in our mind and how we view the world, right? And so then we can start noticing what is the signs of the inner child wounded. Okay, so some of the signs that might come about of when they're being activated and really are calling out for healing includes when we're constantly disassociating, we have blacked out memories, we have self-sabotaging cycles, we have these intense emotions out of the blue, feeling unsafe, unworthy, or inherently flawed, addictive or risk-seeking behaviors, anxiety, shame, low self-esteem, and trust issues, and perfectionism. So those are that's your quick short list. Like if you are going, yeah, I've been there, yep, done that, those things are going, your inner child's like, yo, look at me, please pay attention, I have healing to do.
And knowing that those wounds are, I don't want to say that they last your whole life because they don't. It's absolutely possible to heal your inner child wounds, but knowing that working with your inner child is a lifelong journey because at the root of every difficult emotion, every limiting belief, there is a younger you who learned how to believe that. Whether that younger you was you 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or it truly is your inner child, right? And so the ability to tune in to some of the techniques that we're going to share with you tonight are going to serve you your entire life because we're constantly going to be reevaluating the experiences and stories that we got from the past and if we want them to continue in the present, right?